Star Wars The Clone Wars, Season 7, Episode 2, A Distant Echo is here. I just watched it. I want to give you my raw reaction and review. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button like wrecker, and let's get right into this. Oh, and again, your usual, this is way too early. My brain might be jumbled. Please forgive any fumbles, mess-ups that I do during this video. Okay, so this episode follows what we had established in episode 1. They're looking for Echo. Now, overall, just reaction to the episode, I really liked it. There's particularly a couple things in here that to me are the perfect flavor, the perfect Clone Wars flavor. And this all begins with a scene with Anakin and Padme. Anakin and Rex slip away and do this private thing that they have to do. And essentially, it is Anakin going into the barracks alone to have a comms communication with Padme. And this scene was really good, like really well acted. The chemistry between them is palpable. You can feel it. It really does feel almost more romantic than a lot of the stuff we got in the actual prequels. And that's just something with Clone Wars, man. Like what they did with Clone Wars was really go back and fill out the context for the character of Anakin and really make people feel for that character. Anakin that is given to us in the prequels, just the films, not necessarily the best, although I know there's a lot of prequel fans out there. But they really fleshed out his character in the Clone Wars, and you just get to do that with more time, spending a lot of time with these characters. It really fleshes them out. This particular scene between Anakin and Padme was brilliant, and it's showing the relationship that they have, the trust that they have. She's also a little less pregnant, I think, than we saw in the trailers. A lot of us were like, yo, how is Anakin this daft? How does he not recognize that Padme is pregnant? But it looks like they toned it down a little bit for this comms communication, which was good. But also there's this thread here, this idea of following your feelings, of following your instincts, of doing what you feel is right. And Padme focused on the fact that Rex, who is really the centerpiece of this episode and this arc, has always been there for Anakin, and therefore Anakin must be there for Rex. And while this is really cool, it's also really heartbreaking because it just again shows you that it was all these people that believed in Anakin, all of these people that loved him, that supported him, and at the end of the day, his turn and what he did after he turned is really horrible when you juxtapose it against all those people that loved him and respected him. And of course, Rex was one of those people, but he had a special bond with Rex, man. This is like crazy to go from a person that is that kind of a guy that everybody's supporting, and you've got all these special relationships, to being literally the epitome of evil. It just adds to the fall of Anakin and adds to how horrible it is, but that's perfect. That's exactly what you want with this kind of story when it comes to Star Wars. Another brilliant aspect to this entire episode is the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi knows that he's communicating with Padme. There's this scene where he approaches Rex outside of the barracks, has a conversation with him, then he's talking to Anakin as Anakin's trying to shut him up and walk away, and he says, well, I at least hope you said hello to Padme from me. And this adds to this thread of like Obi-Wan knew what was going on. He's not going to blow up Anakin's spot, but he knew what was going on. And this carries through into the prequels pretty nicely because, of course, Obi-Wan just knows that Anakin is the father when he finds out that Padme is pregnant. And this is all happening very, very close in time period here. So, again, really interesting. Exactly the flavor you want from Clone Wars, tying into Revenge of the Sith and having this through line of character relationships that end in tragedy. Now, when it comes to the character of Rex, it's really interesting because there's this moment he has with Anakin where he's talking about how he's seen so many of his brothers fall, right? So much death, so many clones go away, and he tries not to get attached. But all of that changed for Rex when he heard Echo's voice in the first episode, right? When he realized that it wasn't an algorithm, that they were utilizing Echo, that Echo is likely still alive. That just changes things for him. And for whatever reason, he's really emotional here, and he really wants to rescue Echo, which is great. Like, it's perfect. It makes us feel that same thing for Rex. And of course, Rex is a character that goes on to have a lot of experiences in Rebels and in the future. He's also rumored to play a slight role in the next animated series that Dave Filoni is working on, whether or not that's a Rebels sequel or not. So it's just really cool. Like, this is a great episode for Rex, and they really do a good job of making you think, hey, man, maybe Echo isn't alive. right? Maybe Echo is dead and this is going to be horrible for Rex. The back half of the episode is where all the action takes place. They go to this planet. There are natives there that are on these flying things. They capture Anakin for a second, and then, of course, Crosshair, like, blasts him with, like, a Batman-like grapple gun and flies along with him, figures out where this base is for all the people. The clones come back in, rescue Anakin. They translate stuff, and then the tribal people at least help them get to where they need to go. They're going guns blazing. It's your usual stuff. Loved the fact that the Bad Batch was still here. These characters are really growing on me. This is so cool. I wish we got like 3 times the amount of episodes that we're actually getting. This was fantastic. They blasted their way in, and the episode ends with Rex indeed finding Echo. But this was haunting, a little horrifying for a sort of animated kids show. But when they actually find Echo, he's like very Frankenstein-like. I mean, he's got all these fake limbs and everything like that, but he looks to be frozen, and there looks to be like they scrambled his brain, or they're using his brain somehow to help their battle plan. So it wasn't an algorithm. It is Echo. Echo is alive, but he looks severely damaged. That's going to have an effect on Rex, obviously. It's going to have an effect on everybody. And that's where the episode ends. So we expect that they will figure out how to care for Rex or whatever in the next episode. But this brings in all sorts of ideas and issues that are really big. Like, they're really big time issues to think about, interesting things when it comes to Star Wars, but a terrific ending to this episode. So overall, this episode was awesome. I'm going to give it another 9 out of 10. It doesn't quite push into the 10 out of 10 category. I think those episodes are on the way, though. But this episode did a lot of special things, and there's just a lot operating here. I know it's just, to some people, it's just this animated show, right? But I think they wouldn't have brought it back if Disney didn't realize what the show meant to people. It's terrific that we're starting with Rex, getting more character moments with Rex and with the other clones. This is a huge aspect of what the show did right before, and what's important, I think, to let new people know about, too. So if you're just coming in for the last season when it comes to Clone Wars, this is what it is. I think it's perfect that we're starting with Rex, and we're getting this stuff with the clones and with the war. The Clone Wars has been going on for a couple of years at this point. We know where it's headed. This is just the Bad News Bears time period, man, and war and conflict in this whole thing. It comes with a lot of horrible effects. You have to remember, of course, all of this was orchestrated by Palpatine. Palpatine perfectly willing to cause this chaos and then pull the pieces together to have ultimate control. But the thing is, he really doesn't care how many people are being damaged by this, right? I mean, that's why it's villainous. That's why this is horrible. And seeing these sort of effects, the tendrils of this, and how bad war can actually be to all of these characters. And really, this war kind of destroys the Jedi. Like, it doesn't literally destroy them. That's Order 66, but they're all spread too thin. Their morality's shaky. They lose touch with the Force, as Yoda indicates. And this is just the antithesis of when all the bad stuff is happening in the prequels. And I think we'll transition now into more stuff with the Jedi, into more stuff with the Republic. I assume we will bring Rex back to Coruscant, figure something out with him, put him, in a med bay or something like that, and we'll go from there, focusing more on Obi-Wan, focusing more on Anakin and the conflict with the Jedi spread across the galaxy. So I think that's where we're going with this. And, slight spoilers, but we do know that Rex is going to end up with Ahsoka towards the end of this season. He's going to part ways with Anakin. That's going to be really sad as well. So I'm glad that we're getting these last moments with Rex and Anakin and focus on their relationship. I think it's really cool. And of course, the Padme Anakin stuff is great. And with Obi-Wan, I mean, again, we are probably in the timeline here just a few days, maybe a few weeks away from the battle on Mustafar, the actual switch with Anakin and how he's going to fight Obi-Wan. And I think the show, Clone Wars, is going to set us up to make that scene even more sad, even more heartbreaking. That whole movie will be even more heartbreaking after this last season. But that's exactly what we want from this season of Clone Wars. So I think 2 out of 2, nailing it. Both 9 out of 10s for me. I'm very excited. But that's it, guys. That's my raw reaction and review of this episode and a little bit of thoughts about where we're going. I want to know what you thought about this episode. What do you think? What do you think they're going to do with Echo now? Are they going to be able to bring him back to fighting shape? Is it pretty much over for him? Are they going to do something horrible where the Republic decides it's not worth keeping him around? Is that going to happen? That would be brutal. I hope we get him back in armor. I hope that he's able to help Rex out and Ahsoka out towards the end of this season. That would be really cool for me. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. And now let's shout out VP Dixon. Indeed, Avar Chris is the name of the blonde woman on the cover of the Light of the Jedi novel. So shout out to you, VP Dixon. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, in Legends, there are the Mortis gods, the father, the son, and the daughter, but there was also a mother. This being was very powerful with the light and dark side of the Force and becomes a major villain in Legends. I want to know, what is the name of that character that was the mother to the father of Mortis? I mean, she wasn't his mother. She was the mother in that scenario. Does that make sense? Yeah, what is the name of that character? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.